Donald Trump is heading back to China nearly a decade after his last visit, but this time the stakes are different. 3 industries will decide who dominates the 21st century, and in at least one of them, the US is already behind. So who really is the tech superpower of the world? And has Washington already made a strategic mistake? What better place to start than with AI? Donald Trump first defined it as a race for supremacy.
America is the country that started the AI race, and as President of the United States, I'm here today to declare that America is going to win it.
There's no doubt America got the best start, with the best AI chips, whose sale was restricted in China, and the wealthiest AI firms. Their models set the standard. But what happened next blindsided Silicon Valley.
China's leap forward in AI has been described as a Sputnik moment, stunning Silicon Valley and wiping $1 trillion off global stock markets.
DeepSeek wasn't quite as good as America's best chatbots, but the fact Chinese tech talent could make something nearly as good with inferior hardware at a fraction of the cost was a shock to the US AI ecosystem. Fast forward to now, and the latest analysis of leading models shows China's frontier AI still lags a few months behind America, but comfortably matching its pace, and at times out in front. Have a watch of this. A scene involving 2 of America's biggest stars made with a new Chinese model seed dance. It went viral and sent Hollywood into meltdown.
He was a good man! He knew too much about our Russia operations. He had to die.
America still leads, as one expert puts it, with AI brains, where China leads on AI bodies. China's homegrown engineering talent and manufacturing base, producing 90% of the world's humanoid robots at a speed and cost US firms can only dream of. As we saw in Berlin last year, American robots may have an edge in innovation and software. We're told this is the first public demonstration of a humanoid robot carrying out an everyday task, in this case assembling an engine part in a real workplace, and done so entirely autonomously, without human control. Even at the time, I wasn't convinced the human-robot revolution was upon us. Then I saw something that made that much harder to argue. Chinese firm Unitree, that built these back-flipping kung fu robots, were inspired by leading American designs. But they've made unique innovations, and when it comes to low-cost mass production, would kick America's aspirations if there was a robot war tomorrow. China's centrally planned economy has decided to snatch the robot baton and run with it, not just financing what it sees as key tech, but using it to inspire a tech-literate public. The Beijing half marathon saw humanoid robots lined up alongside real runners, one reportedly breaking the human record by 7 minutes. One hold the US has on Chinese AI is control of the state-of-the-art chips used to build the frontier models. Export bans prevented China from having them, but chip makers and some in the White House argue removing barriers will work to America's advantage by making Chinese AI reliant on American tech. Something China understands too. Its AI firms want the best hardware, but Beijing wants its industry to make rival Chinese chips.
人工智能大模型你追我赶，芯片自主研发有了新突破。
So for now, despite the US easing restrictions, China isn't buying.
My understanding is their cloud companies want to buy these chips.
Of course they do.
And the central government has not let them. Chinese central government has not let them, as of yet, buy the chips because they're trying to keep their investment focused on their own domestic industry. So we have not sold them chips as of yet.
In Mr. Trump's talks with President Xi, we can expect AI hardware to become literal bargaining chips. One thing all tech superpowers need is, well, power, especially in the era of AI. But this is where the real bottleneck appears, and it could decide the entire race. The biggest limiting factor in better AI isn't more or better chips. It's these things. We've been to see the machines powering America's AI boom, gas turbines, with US manufacturers struggling to meet demand. The wait time for one of these used to be about 18 months. It's now closer to 4 years. As the US and Europe is finding out the hard way, their fossil fuel-dominated energy grids are struggling with AI's insatiable thirst for electricity. Not so in China. Though more than half of Chinese electricity still comes from burning coal, clean energy tech, solar, wind and batteries are replacing it and meeting China's growth in demand. Whereas the Trump administration, as we witnessed firsthand, has been actively dismantling US clean tech growth.
We don't do wind because wind is a disaster. It's a very expensive joke, frankly.
In the case of wind farms like this one in New England, halting some projects that are already built. Just a single rotation of this turbine would generate enough electricity to power the average American household for a year. President Drill Baby Drill,
Drill, baby, drill. Drill, baby, drill.
is instead backing US fossil fuels. He's expected to lean on China to buy more US oil and gas when he gets to Beijing. But is it a smart long-term strategy? In the first 7 months of last year, China exported $120 billion in clean energy tech, like solar panels, compared to America's $80 billion in exports for oil and gas. Mr. Trump's epic fury hasn't helped. Sure, US oil firms are profiting hugely from oil prices boosted by the Iran conflict, but the shock to global energy markets is driving a scramble for alternatives. Chinese solar exports doubled in March, and exports of its EVs are up 78% in the first quarter. And yes, those EVs.
We have an amazing product to show you tonight.
America, or should that be Elon Musk, was the first to make a globally successful electric car. But China's dominance in batteries, it controls between 70 and 90% of the lithium-ion supply chain, has put it in the fast lane. For the first time last year, China's BYD sold more electric vehicles globally than Tesla. An impressive acceleration given Musk's firm was making 4 times more cars than its competitor just 6 years ago. So how did China catch up so fast? It has a lot to do with price. In China, Tesla's cheapest model is still 3 to 4 times more expensive than BYD's. To be fair, it has double the range and more than triple the power, but even when matched on specs, there's still a clear price gap. China has heavily subsidized its EV makers, but analysts argue its cars are cheaper due to stronger supply chains and the vertical integration of its industry. The US, however, can be much more confident in another field that will dominate our near future: space.
3, 2, 1.
While Tesla is being usurped by Chinese rivals, Elon Musk's other company, SpaceX, and its commercial rivals in America are way ahead in space. In the last 5 years, the US has pulled ahead of China, last year performing more than twice as many orbital launches, a lead almost entirely down to SpaceX, credited with 85% of all launches last year. But even here, there's a catch, as we found out a few weeks ago in Texas.
This is the iconic, the historic mission control at Houston, where they're controlling the whole of the Artemis operations. Come and take a look.
We have some news to share with you. As of 30 seconds ago, you are now closer to the moon than you are to us on Earth.
America is celebrating sending the first humans back to the moon for more than 50 years.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Artemis 2 crew.
Well, here at NASA they talk about moon joy, and I guess this is what it looks like. And NASA has plans, fully backed by the president, to land Americans on the moon again as early as 2028. But there's a chance it will be a Chinese flag on the arm of the next human on the moon. China is targeting a crewed lunar landing in 2030. Though it's well behind America's space industry, China has enough know-how to pull off a moon landing that would inspire its citizens and dent the ego of Donald Trump. As with everything else in tech, China is catching up fast. And it's doing it using a playbook America once wrote itself.
Hiroshima had been chosen as the target for the first great blow.
Since World War II and the lethal success of the state-funded science-led Manhattan Project, the US government supported science and engineering at levels never seen before, credited as a key driver of its 20th century rise to superpowerdom. For the last 2 decades, China has effectively done the same, and within 2 years is expected to surpass the US in public R&D spending. And one set of numbers shows just how much this is paying off. A new analysis of frontier research fields from quantum computing to superconductors finds in 2003 the US led China in 60 of 64 areas. Now, the tables have turned, with China leading the US in 57 out of the 64.
The next item, sir, is a freeze on all federal hiring, excepting the military and a number of other excluded categories.
Rather than scrambling to win the R&D race, Donald Trump appears to be doing the opposite.
Could you imagine Biden doing this? I don't think so.
The White House cut $4 billion, half the budget of the National Science Foundation, America's science funding body. And Mr. Trump has just sacked the entire National Science Board, planning to replace 22 of the most preeminent US scientists charged with steering its future with tech bosses and investors. But what presidents before him knew, and President Xi of China certainly appreciates, is you don't get a technological edge without a steady talent pipeline. And here, America may be faltering. More than 10,000 PhD-level scientists and engineers have left the federal workforce as a result of cuts. Tougher border controls also risk driving top talent away, and that could be bad. From Einstein to Elon Musk, immigrant scientists help make America great. 40% of American Nobel Prizes since the year 2000 were won by researchers born elsewhere. By the same logic, China faces its own constraints. Its planned economy has nurtured homegrown talent and leading tech companies, but innovation thrives with free movement of people and ideas. China is yet to attract top international talent, and far more Chinese scientists and engineers head to America than the other way round. Ultimately, the decisive battleground may not be AI, robots, or space at all, but talent, science, and societies that let innovation thrive.